Hey guys, it's Leah and welcome back to my channel. So those of you who follow me on Twitter already know that this is going to be my review of Venom. I got to see it last night, so I'm really excited to talk about it with you guys. For those of you who aren't subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe down below, and let's get started with this review of Venom. I want to start off by saying that it wasn't the worst thing that I've seen. I prepared myself with its low Rotten Tomato score to have very low expectations of it, which was unfortunate because I love Venom and I was very excited for this film. And I do want to say right away that I know you guys have heard me talking about it through Fandom Fridays, through watching the trailer reactions, and that I was one of the people that was pretty disappointed about the PG-13 rating, and not because I think that to be good it has to have an R rating, but you could definitely tell in the film that there was an internal struggle, and you know, they were pushing the bounds of that PG-13, and I think it would have been a lot more breathable with that R rating, and there would have been a lot more Venom to show and include. So yeah, the only reason why I feel like it would have been better as an R was because you could tell in the film that there was a struggle. If you couldn't tell, it would have been like, fine, PG-13, good. But it kind of just added to the confusion that is what I think people are disliking this film for, because there is a lot of clunkiness, campiness, and confusion. So the script itself definitely wandered between like dark and unintentionally funny, which I think actually worked. There was times where I was like, okay, it's not sure what it's doing, it's bad writing, it's just all over the place and it's unsure of itself, but there are aspects of that that do connect back to Venom as, you know, a comic book antihero and, you know, Eddie Brock and everything that actually worked, and that it's like with Deadpool, you're like, oh, it's so bad, but it's supposed to be like that. And I think that with Venom it was a little afraid to full throttle that, so that's why it was hesitant, and that's where some of the things that didn't work start to appear. Obviously, the film's exposition, and this is one of the reasons why I'm excited for the next installment that will inevitably take place, because the first act of this film was just cumbersome. Like, the exposition and, you know, following around Drake's little prickiness and Brock, like, crying in a corner over beer and tater tots took forever. And they didn't even set up characters besides Brock, besides Venom eventually, that you really cared about or were attached to, and they weren't very fleshed out too well. So that's why it makes me excited that there's going to be a second film that I'll get to talking about later in this video, but hopefully with that eliminated, because, you know, once Venom was introduced, like, the films start to pick up, and the thing that's redeemable about this film, in my opinion, is unlike, I always use Suicide Squad as examples, but like for Suicide Squad, because every time I hear it I just cringe and I wish that I had those 2 hours of my life back for the most part, and with Suicide Squad, I left the theater unhappy. With Venom, I was sitting in the theater watching it, and I was like, okay. And then it started to gain its momentum right as it was about to end. So, I mean, it obviously shows some little light of hope, especially with that mid-credit scene that left me leaving the theater like, okay, that was actually fine. I'm smiling, I'm happy, it's alright. I think that it did retain a lot of its 90s feel, which a lot of people are really down on, and it's something that they don't really like about the movie, but I think that in order to understand Eddie Brock and in order to understand Venom, you kind of have to not look at it with a 2018 lens, because that kind of distorts the characters. I don't know if that makes any sense. I do want to say, I think my least favorite thing about the film while watching it was the motorcycle sequence, like the escape sequence when he first, like, not first meets Venom, but first gets to see what's going on, even though he doesn't actually know. That, although visually beautiful, took forever. I turned into like Judge Judy, like looking at my clock, like not really, but I was like, oh my god, like I get it. I understand. Like, I think it started out really awesome and action-packed, and then they were like, oh, this is so cool. Let's stretch it into a 10-minute sequence. And I was like, no, let's not do that. So that's something that really, really bothered me. I don't know if that's just me, but it really did. Obviously, if you follow my Fandom Fridays and other coverage of Venom that I've been talking about, I have said so many times that, you know what, this film is probably mainly going to be a setup for a larger franchise, and boy, was I right. If I had a penny for every time I said something that actually happened, I would have like 5 pennies, guys. I would have a full-on nickel. Anyway, so as you guys know, if you've seen this, the mid-credit scene, as soon as they showed San Quentin State Prison, I was like, oh boy, this is it. This is it. And out of me and the 12 people that were in the theater, the other 12 people took forever to catch on. I was like, are you serious? Like, this is obviously setting up for carnage. Look at Woody Harrelson's wig. Like, he's literally friggin', I don't get it. I don't get the people that, like, go in there and they're like, what was that? They're, like, whispering to each other, like, what just happened? And I'm sitting there like, oh, I'm having a heart attack, because that honestly sealed the deal for me and gave me a lot of hope for the next installments of Venom. Seeing Cletus Cassidy, like, in the prison, and he's just, like, waiting for Eddie Brock to come in, like, okay. So I want to wrap up this video by saying that I don't think Venom was a total flop. I think that there's some very redeemable qualities. I really enjoyed the dark humor slash like comedy, and you know, a lot of it, the dark humor is what I found really funny, and what a lot of people I think were just kind of like, what? And I was like, oh, that's so funny if you have a dark sense of humor. If you didn't, it just went. But anyway, I don't think Venom's a total loss. I think I'm gonna probably see it again so I can make my final decisions. I think I'm gonna make a video for the Easter eggs that were in Venom in case you guys missed that. Make sure to leave a thumbs up, comment down below what you guys thought, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.